Hello everyone, I hope you are fit and fine. Today, in this video session, we are going to see a touching story about the statue of a happy prince and a swallow. The title of this extract is The Happy Prince. The Happy Prince is a story written by Oscar Wilde. It is about the story of a statue, the Happy Prince, covered with gold and many fine jewels. It sits overlooking the city. One day, a swallow bird seeks shelter under the statue and discovers the prince not happy but sad. So, without wasting the time, let's see what kind of the message Oscar Wilde would like to share with us. So, let's see the warming up activities first, because it's very necessary to solve the warming up activities before going to start the actual extract. So here we have total three questions. The third question is related with the grammar, that is direct and indirect speech. I will make a separate video on it. So here we are going to discuss about first two questions which are very important. So the first question here is, there are different types of short stories. Use a dictionary or internet and find out what each of the following types refers to. So in the first question, you can use the dictionary or you can use the internet, and you have to find out regarding the types of short stories. So here we have the first type of short story, which is called as fable. So fable is basically related with animal characters. It means in such kind of the stories you will have animal characters, and these are the stories which are having moral. So these are the moral bearing stories with animal characters. So this is all about fable. The second one is anecdote. Anecdote is a short amusing account of an incident. So whenever someone told us an amusing account of any one of the incident, so that time it's called as anecdote. And anecdotes are basically the combination of reality and fantasy. The third one is fairy tale. Fairy tale having supernatural characters. In fairy tales, you will get fairies, demons, kings, queens, so many characters were there. And this is a moral, or these are the stories which are also having the moral for children. So fairy tales are very famous in children fiction. Fourth one, that is parable. Parable means having the stories which are religious base. Religious base means in such kind of the stories you will get the references of so many famous sacred books. Maybe Bible, maybe Ramayana, maybe Mahabharata, maybe any one of the sacred book. And of course, these are the stories which are having the message or moral for the human beings. So this is all about parable. The next one is tragedy. By the name itself, it clearly indicates that these are the stories which are having the tragic end, and these are the stories which are so serious and ends in a tragedy. At the end, maybe hero will be died, maybe heroine will be died. So such kind of the incidents were happened because these are the tragedies. So the next one is humorous story. Humorous stories are basically for laughter, or to create the laughter, such kind of the stories were written. And such kind of the stories are playing an important role to amuse the people. And these are the comic kind of the stories. The next type of the short story is detective story. Detective, you all know it very well. The plot revolves around the investigation. So this is the investigation of something. And here detective or maybe any one of the central character is trying his level best to solve the crime or crimes which were happened before. So such kind of the stories are called as detective stories. The next one, that is myth. Myth originated in ancient times. So these are the stories which are related with our past, and authorship of such kind of the stories were unknown because we don't know exactly that who has written the particular story which is of myth. So this is all about the types of short stories. The second question here is related with the migratory birds. And the question is like this: have you heard of birds that fly from one part of the world to another in small or large flocks? They are called migratory birds. Discuss and write down two reasons why they migrate and return. So, all over the world, in our nature, so many migratory birds were there, and they migrate from one place to another for many reasons. But basically, here we need to write down two reasons, that why exactly they migrated from one place to another, and why after migrating to that place, why they were returned after some time. So here you have to think about two reasons. So here let's see, the migratory birds migrate for basically food and warmth. They return when food supplies in their home area stabilize and winter changes to summer again. So many birds were there. Basically, they migrate due to the lack of food and warmth. So as soon as summer is returns to their land or to their area, they returns to their own land. So many such kind of the migratory birds were there. So this is all about the warming up activities. So after solving the warming up activities, we're moving ahead towards the main part of the story. So let's see the first paragraph here. The statue of the happy prince stood high above the city. It was covered with gold. Its eyes were bright blue jewels, and a red jewel hung from its waist. So this is the description of the statue which is at the middle of the city. And this is the statue of the happy prince. This statue, or the size of the statue, is big. This is a high statue in the city. It was covered with gold. All over the body of the statue, you can see many jewels because this is the statue of Happy Prince, and its speciality of his eyes were that eyes were made of bright blue jewels, and a red jewel hung from its waist. So to his west side, you can see red jewel, which was hung, and everyone thought that it was very beautiful. Why aren't you like the happy prince? Mother said to their little boys when they cried. It means this is a special statue which is very famous in that city. And whenever children were cried out, that time their mothers asked them, why aren't you like the happy prince? Because on the face of the statue you can see a smile, and this smile is basically reflects that how statue was happy, and the name of this statue itself is the Happy Prince. Sad man looked at the statue and said, I'm glad that someone in the world is happy. So many people, those who were sad, these people, when they seen this particular statue, they said to himself or herself that I'm glad that someone in the world is happy. यानी दुनिया में कोई तो ऐसा है कि जो हैप्पी है. One night, a little swallow flew alone over the city. Swallow? Swallow is a kind of bird, a small bird with pointed wings and a forked tail. This is a very tiny bird. And one day, what happened that one night a little swallow flew alone over the city. His friends had gone away, but he had stayed behind for 6 weeks. So, what happened with this swallow? That this swallow flew alone over the city. And why this bird is alone? The reason is very clear that his friends, it means all the swallows, they had gone away, but he had stayed behind for 6 weeks. It means जो उसके साथी थे तो पहले से ही वो वहां से चले गए थे. And this swallow was far behind. वो उनसे 6 weeks पीछे था. And this is the migratory kind of the bird. And such kind of the birds, they were migrated from one place to another in search of food and warmth. So this is the same kind of the swallow. And where can I stay tonight? So he asked the question to himself that where can I stay tonight? यानी आज की रात में कहाँ पे रुकूंगा? He thought. Then he saw the statue. When he thought this particular question, that time he saw the statue of the Happy Prince, and he decided, I will stay there, he thought. So he had decided that today I will take the rest here. And let's see what happened. It's high up, so there is plenty of fresh air. He landed between the feet of the Happy Prince. I have a golden bedroom, he thought. But as he put his head under his wing, a large drop of water fell on him. So, what happened with this bird? That it is a high up. It means the length of the statue is very high. So, there is a plenty of fresh air because the statue is very high. So, he landed between the feet of the Happy Prince, and he thought that today he got the golden bedroom. But as he put his head under his wing to take the rest, what happened? A large drop of water fell on him. So, what kind of the drop of water fell on him? We will see in the next paragraph. But before that, we need to discuss one question here, that why did people admire the statue? So the answer is very clear, that the statue of the Happy Prince was covered with gold. Its eyes were bright blue jewels, and a red jewel hung from its waist. Everyone thought it was very beautiful and admired it. And of course, many people thought like that, that this statue is all the time happy. And so these people admired the statue of Happy Prince. So without wasting the time, let's see what kind of the large drop of water fell on him, fell on the swallow bird. So let's see. He looked up. The swallow looked up, and he said that is very strange. He thought, there is not a cloud in the sky, but it is raining. Then another drop fell at the same time. So he thought like that this situation is very strange, because there is not a single cloud in the sky. यानी कहीं पर भी बादल नहीं है आकाश में, but still it's raining. And at the same time, one another drop fell down on his wings. He said that I cannot stay on a statue that does not keep me dry. He thought. तो उसने कहा कि मैं ऐसे स्टैचू के नीचे तो नहीं रह सकता जो कि मुझे सूखा रख सके, because it's very necessary to keep dry in this winter season. He thought, I must find another place. So he thought like that. It would be good if you will find another place to take a rest. And he decided to fly away. But as he opened his wing, a third drop fell. जैसे ही उस स्वैलो ने अपने पंख खोले तो उस वक्त एक और drop of water fell down. He looked up and saw, what did he see? जैसे ही उसने ऊपर देखा तो उसने क्या देखा? The eyes of the happy prince were full of tears. It means when he had seen above, that time he realized that these are not the drops of water, but these are the drops of tears. यानी ये तो जो हैप्पी प्रिंस है तो उसके आंखों में से जो आंसू गिर रहे थे ये आंसू उसके ऊपर गिर रहे थे. So tears rolled down his golden face. And why tears rolled down his golden face, we will see in the next paragraph. The face was very beautiful in the moonlight, and the swallow felt sorry for him. यानी उस रात मूनलाइट में उसका चेहरा बहुत सुंदर दिखाई दे रहा था. किसका चेहरा? हैप्पी प्रिंस का. एंड द स्वैलो फेल्ट सॉरी फॉर हिम बिकॉज ही फेल्ट very sad for the happy prince. Though his face is so beautiful, but still the prince or the happy prince is crying, and the drops of tears were rolling down. And who are you? Asked the bird. So the bird asked the prince the question that who are you? And the statue, this is the conversation between the swallow and statue, because this is, remember, this is in the category of fable, because in the fable we have the animal characters and here we have the swallow which can speak. So the swallow asked the question to the happy prince that who are you? And the statue said, I am the happy prince. Then why you are crying? I am wet with your tears. So he told him that why you are crying, because he was wet with his tears. Wet means moist or damp. यानी उसकी उसकी आंखों में से जो पानी बह रहा था तो उसकी वजह से वो क्या हो रहा था? गीला हो रहा था. So he said to him that why you are crying. So here we have one another question that what were the drops that fell on the swallow? So of course these are not the drops of water. These are the tears which are rolling down from the eyes of the happy prince. So why he is crying? Let's see. So he said, when I was alive, said the prince, I had a heart like every other man. So he said to swallow that when he was alive, जब वो जिंदा था तो उसके पास एक आम इंसान के जैसा ही हार्ट था, दिल था. But I did not know what tears were. It means he said to swallow that I don't know the meaning of the tears, क्योंकि वो लाइफ में कभी रोया ही नहीं था, because he has all the things what he wants. And he said that I lived in a palace where there was no sadness. वो ऐसी जगह पे, ऐसे पैलेस में रहता था कि जहां पे दुख नाम का कोई या दुख नाम की कोई चीज ही नहीं थी. I lived in a palace where there was no sadness. In the daytime, I played with my friends in a beautiful garden, and in the evening, I danced. So this is the daily routine of the happy prince. What was the daily routine? In the daytime, he was played with his friends in a beautiful garden, and in the evening, he was danced with his friends. There was a high wall around the garden. It means around this palace there was a compound, a big wall compound, and this is the height of this wall or compound is high. But I did not know what lay on the other side. तो उसने कहा कि मैं तो गार्डन के अंदर ही खेलता रहता था, पैलेस के बाहर तो जाने का कभी मौका ही नहीं मिला. एंड दिस इज वेरी difficult task to see the other side of the कंपाउंड. तो कंपाउंड के उस साइड में क्या है उसे पता ही नहीं था. सो आई वॉज कॉल्ड द हैप्पी प्रिंस. सो ही सेड दैट उसी वजह से मुझे सारे लोग क्या बुलाते थे? द हैप्पी प्रिंस. आई वॉज प्लीज्ड विथ माई लिटिल वर्ल्ड. सो ही वॉज सेटिस्फाइड इन हिज लाइफ because he never known that what kind of the sadness or what kind of the sufferings people have there in their life. So you don't know about it. So now I'm dead and they have put me up here. Said that अभी तो मैं मर गया हूँ and they have put me up here. And now people created his statue at the middle of the city. I can see all the unhappiness of my city. Now he is able to see the world which were unknown to him. जो वर्ल्ड उसे पहले पता ही नहीं था, तो आज उसे उस वर्ल्ड के बारे में जानने का मौका मिला. एंड नाउ ही इज एबल टू सी ऑल द अनहैप्पीनेस ऑफ हिज सिटी. तो आज सिटी में कितना अनहैप्पीनेस है, लोग किस तरह से जी रहे हैं, आज वहां से वो देख पा रहा है. माई हार्ट नाउ इज मेड ऑफ ए चीप मेटल. सो नाउ he don't have his regular heart because now he was dead, and he has the heart which was made of a cheap metal. Cheap means inexpensive, insignificant. So but even that poor heart can feel, and so I cry. So he said that though I don't have a human heart like any one of the ordinary person, but my heart which was made of a cheap metal still feels the pain, and so I cry. तो उसी वजह से वो क्या कर रहा है? रो रहा है. Oh, said the swallow to himself, he is not only gold on the outside. So now the swallow realized that this prince is not only looking happy outside, but he has the golden heart as well. And so he is able to feel the sadness or unhappiness of the people now. So far away from here, said the happy prince in a low voice. So now the prince is able to see the unhappiness in his city. Now he is going to tell that what kind of the things he had seen just now. Let's see. He said that far away from here, यहाँ से बहुत दूर, उसने कहा, दबे आवाज में कहा, there is a poor house in a little street. He said that there is a poor house in a little street. Though, sorry, through an open window, I can see a woman at a table. So now he's seeing one of the women who is at her table. So here we have another question, that when did the happy prince realize about his suffering people? So this particular statue of happy prince, after his death, the happy prince was made into a statue and stood high above the city. He could then see all the unhappiness of his city. That was the time he realized about the suffering of his people. So because now the people made the statue of the happy prince. So after the death of the happy prince, he was able to see the sufferings of the people or the ordinary people. So let's see what happened next. Now he just told the swallow that he had seen one woman in a poor house and she was at her table. She is making a dress for one of the queen's ladies for a dance in the palace. So what kind of the work she is doing? So maybe she is a tailor and she is doing her work to make a dress for one of the queen's ladies. तो क्वीन की लेडी जो है उसके लिए या उनके लिए वो क्या कर रही है, ड्रेस बना रही है. Her little boy is lying on a bed in the corner of the room. So what is it? Her little boy, the little boy of that lady is lying on a bed. Lying means recumbent. तो एक कॉर्नर में उस रूम के छोटे से रूम के बेड पे उसका जो छोटा सा बच्चा है वो वहां पे लेटा हुआ है. He is very ill. So why he was lying there? The reason is very clear that he is very ill. वो बहुत बीमार है. He is crying because she can only give him water from the river. So he is crying because he don't have anything to give him, and she's she's able to give that little boy only the water from the river. Little bird, will you take my red jewel to her? So now he's requesting to that swallow that would you do me a favor and could you please take this or take my red jewel to her. I cannot move from here. And he told him that because now he is a statue and due to that it's not possible for him to move here and there. My friends are waiting for me in Egypt, said the swallow. And swallow gave an answer to the happy prince that he was far behind and his friends were waiting for him in Egypt. So this swallow is going where? Now he is going towards the Egypt because he is one of the migratory bird. But still the happy prince requested him, little bird, said the prince, please stay. The boy is crying and his mother is so unhappy. So the happy prince once again requested to the swallow that little bird, प्लीज स्टे, इन थोड़ी देर के लिए यहाँ पे रुक जाओ. द बॉय इज क्राइंग अ लॉट एंड हिज मदर इज सो अनहैप्पी. ही सेड टू हिम दैट द मदर एंड अ बॉय is in difficult situation. They were in trouble. And could you please stay for a while? And could you please give them red jewel? The happy prince looked very sad, and the little swallow was sorry for him. It is very cold here, he said, but I will stay with you for one night. Tomorrow I will take the jewel. So, due to the expressions on the face of happy prince, he felt very sad for the happy prince and he was ready to stay there for one night. एक रात के लिए वो swallow वहां पे रुकने के लिए रेडी हो गई. And the swallow said to the statue that it is very cold here because this is the migratory bird who is going somewhere in to get the warmth, because for such kind of the birds it's not possible to stay in the winter season. That is very difficult for the birds. So it is very cold here, यहाँ पे बहुत ठंड है उसने कहा. But still the swallow is ready to stay there for one night and he promised him that tomorrow I will take the jewel. तो कल ये जो ज्वेल है तो मैं उनको दे के आ जाऊंगा. So now he accepted the request of the happy prince, and happy prince said to the swallow, "Thank you, little bird," said the prince. So here we have just discussed that what kind of the problems are now seen by the happy prince, because now he is dead, and he or the people made the statue of the happy prince, and they put up the statue at the middle of the city, and from here he is able to see in each and every household of the city. Now he is able to see the sadness, the unhappiness, and even the sufferings of the people. So, of course, this is a very touchy kind of the story. This is a sensitive kind of the story. So, here we are going to stop now. I hope till here you have understood the story. In the next video, we are going to complete the remaining part of the story. Till then, stay tuned. Thank you everyone. Stay home. Stay safe.